Hi library friends, it's Miss Connie from the Hopewell branch, and today we're going to make a lily. So there are a couple parts to our lily. We're going to have to make a stem, we're going to make petals, we're going to make an inside, and we're going to make leaves. And then we're going to have a nice pretty flower. So I'm going to set this aside, and the first thing we're going to do is make our stem. So there's a couple different things you could make a stem out of. The best would be if you had a green chenille stem at home. So it helps because it bends and it's going to help keep our flower together. I don't have green, I have black. So I'm going to have to turn my black chenille into a green stem. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a piece of tissue paper that I had around the house that I used to wrap packages. And I'm going to take my stick and I'm going to put it at the corner right in the middle of I'm going to put the tissue paper corner in the middle of my stick, and I'm going to twirl down. Now, I could put it on the side like this, but I didn't feel like I had the same control. It was hard to keep both sides going at the same time. So we're going to go back to the corner right in the middle of our stick, and we're going to twirl it down until we cover the whole stem. So super fast. It's not going to be super tight. We're going to use glue at the end to make it fit a little better. Okay, so when you get all the way down, your stick is all covered. At this point, you can still move your stick a little bit down the tube. And okay, we're all covered. You're going to take a child-friendly scissors and cut off the extra tissue paper. If you don't have a child-friendly scissors, you need your grown-up to help you cut it for you. Okay, so then we're going to cut off the extra tissue. And you're going to need some kind of non-toxic child-friendly glue. So this is a non-toxic child-friendly school glue. Or you can use a child's glue stick. That would work great as well. I put a little bit of glue on my paper here, and I have a cotton swab, and that's how I'm going to apply it. So I'm going to go all the way down that edge I just cut. Okay, and now I'm going to sort of rewrap it here, tighten it up, and put the glue side down there, and then I'm going to twist. It's still pretty damp. There's a decent amount of glue on there, and I'm going to twist and twist and twist and twist all the way down, and that makes a very nice stem. It's got textural interest, and it fits very well. And we might have to trim it up a little bit when we go to finish, but that's going to work great. So here is our stem. So what if you don't have a chenille stem at home? You can take maybe a pencil. So we get a lot of these pencils maybe at a school party or in a goodie bag from a birthday party. You could use a pencil. I wrap this pencil in green tissue paper. Or maybe you have a straw at home. You could use a straw. This was in the bottom of my bag. Or if you had a paper straw at home, you could use a washable marker and color your paper straw. That would work for a stem too. Or maybe you have a better idea. You don't have to be limited to my ideas. Okay, so we have our stem. The next thing we're going to make is the center. So here's the center of the flower. I'm going to just have 4 parts to that. So what I did was I took a white chenille stick, cut it in half, and I bent the corners, bent the edges around because they're very sharp. You don't want to get hurt. Plus it makes a nice little round end to your chenille stick. It looks good for the center of the flower. So you're going to tuck both ends in. You're going to take both halves and bend them in the middle so it makes a nice V. Bend and bend. And that's what we're going to use for the center. But before we do that, it is yellow. It looks really nice yellow. So we're going to actually just take a magic marker and we're going to, a washable marker, and you're going to actually color it. So you put it down hopefully you can see here, and I'm just gonna color. I'm not gonna take the time now to color it thoroughly, but you could do that when you make the project. A crayon might even work, so you could try a crayon and see if that will work for you. When you're done, you're gonna put the two flowers together to make your center, and you're gonna take your stem that you've already made. So I have to fix this a little bit. I have a little bit too much paper down this side, and I have a little bit too much stem on this side. So we're gonna trim that off. Your grown-up's gonna have to trim that for you because it's hard to get through the stick. And then I'm gonna take the edge, I'm gonna put it through the V, and I'm gonna twist it. And I'll separate out those pieces of chenille stick so it spreads out a little bit, and that is going to be the center of my flower, and here's my stem. And we're all ready to move on to our petals. So I'm going to set this aside for a minute. We're going to go on. And whenever I make a flower or when I do crafts, I usually try to have a template. So this I made out of a piece of scrap paper. It was something I'd printed from the computer, so it's just a regular sheet of white copy paper. I folded it in half. I want to have 6 petals, so when I half that, I've got 3 here, and then when I open it up, I have the other 3 to make 6. So I have a lower petal, a middle petal, and the upper petals, and on the bottom you'll notice it's fairly flat, and that's because this is going to get twirled into a cone, so there's no petals on the bottom. That's how that's going to work. So after I made my template, I just put it onto regular copy paper, and I traced it with a pencil, and then I cut it out with my child-friendly scissors, and what I got was a flower that looked like this. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to curl the ends of our petals. You can see here with the lily that's the shape of the petal. It has that little curl at the end, so we're going to do that with a pencil. So set your flower down, and you're going to put the pencil at the point of one of the petals, and you're going to curl the paper around the edge of the pencil, not all the way down to the bottom, maybe a third of the way down the flower. You can see how that looks. And then you're going to do that to each petal because each one is curled, okay? And it doesn't take very long. You're just going to go twirl, twirl, twirl. We're already half done. And this curl is going to give your flower a lot of the shape that makes it look like a lily. Okay, all done. So there you've got all your curl there. The curl is on the outside, so we're going to set it down right now with our curl on the bottom. And we're going to take our center and our stem, and we're going to sort of put it, I like to put it like this, and I'm going to twirl it in. And your last 2 petals are going to have to overlap a little bit so that you can glue your flower together. So I did that. I'm going to give it a squeeze at the bottom, and then I'm going to open it up again just for a minute so that I can glue the petals. So I put glue on my cotton swab. I'm going to put glue here on this side of the flower, and I'm going to put some glue. That's going to come around, but I'm going to put some glue on the outside of this side of the flower. And then I'm also going to put some glue right here so that when I pinch it later, it's going to stick to my stem. Okay, so just at the bottom there. Okay, I'm going to put my stem back in, twirl again, twirl again. Remember, the overlap is those last 2 petals. They're going to have to overlap a little bit, and you're going to squeeze down here by the stem. So we're going to pinch, 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 and hold it for 10 seconds. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have our nice shape. We have our curled petals. It's going to stick to our stem. There's your center. Remember, it's going to be yellow. And the last thing we need to do is add our leaves. So I have a template here for my leaves. They're skinny leaves, and I cut it out of a piece of index card, but again, you could just use the copy paper. I use tissue paper, I just folded it over a couple times and cut them all out at once. Put my template on the tissue paper, traced it with a pencil, and cut it out. So I have 3 leaves. I'm going to put a little bit of glue at the very bottom of each leaf. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to just attach one a little closer to the top, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a twirl around my stem. 1. This one I'm going to put a little lower. Start it on the other side of the stem. And I'm going to add one more at the bottom. Okay, here we go. So here we have a lily. It has a center, a stem, and some leaves. This is another one. This is the one I started with that I finished. An alternate center I used here. I don't know if you can see that, but if you don't have a chenille stem, I used a couple of cotton swabs. I think I put 4 or 5 together and I taped them together. I also colored them yellow with a marker, and that's the center of this one. So once you're done, you can put all your lilies into a little vase and you have a nice little flower arrangement. Thanks for doing this project with me. I hope you had a good time.